On the morning of November 22, 1963, America was full of hope. President John F. Kennedy, the youngest elected president in U.S. history, was nearing the end of a political trip through Texas. His presidency symbolized energy, progress, and a new generation of leadership. Millions of Americans admired him, not just as a politician, but as a symbol of the American future. That future was about to shatter in a matter of seconds. Shortly after 12:30 p.m., Air Force One landed in Dallas, Texas. The city was chosen to strengthen political unity ahead of the 1964 election. Despite security concerns, the mood was celebratory. Crowds lined the streets, waving flags, smiling, cheering, and hoping for a glimpse of the President and First Lady. John F. Kennedy rode through Dealey Plaza in an open-top limousine, seated beside Jacqueline Kennedy, dressed in her iconic pink suit. The motorcade moved slowly, allowing the public to see their president up close, a decision that would later haunt the nation. As the limousine turned onto Elm Street, time seemed to pause. Then came the sound. A sharp crack echoed through the plaza. At first, many thought it was a motorcycle backfire. Then a second shot rang out, and then a third. President Kennedy slumped forward. Jacqueline Kennedy instinctively climbed onto the back of the car, reaching toward him in panic. Blood stained the seat. Chaos erupted. Secret Service agents leapt into action as the limousine sped toward Parkland Memorial Hospital. At 1 p.m., just 30 minutes later, President John F. Kennedy was pronounced dead. He was 46 years old. The news spread like wildfire across America. Radios interrupted programs. Television networks stopped everything. Schools were dismissed. Businesses closed. Millions of Americans stood frozen in shock, unable to comprehend what had happened. For the first time in modern history, the assassination of a U.S. president was captured on film. The Zapruder footage, forcing the nation to relive the horror frame by frame. Within hours, police arrested a suspect. His name was Lee Harvey Oswald. Oswald, a former Marine with a troubled past, was accused of firing 3 shots from the 6th floor of the Texas School Book Depository. A rifle was found near the window. Oswald denied all charges, famously stating, "I'm just a patsy." 2 days later, before he could stand trial, Oswald was shot and killed live on national television by nightclub owner Jack Ruby. Once again, America watched in disbelief. The murder of the accused assassin only deepened the mystery. Who really killed JFK? Was Oswald acting alone? Or was there something more sinister hidden beneath the surface? To calm a shaken nation, President Lyndon B. Johnson formed the Warren Commission, which concluded in 1964 that Lee Harvey Oswald acted alone and that there was no conspiracy. But for many Americans, the questions never went away. Eyewitness accounts conflicted. Ballistics were debated. The magic bullet theory raised eyebrows. Some claimed shots came from the grassy knoll. Others pointed to possible involvement by the CIA, the mafia, foreign governments, or even elements within the U.S. government itself. Decades passed, yet suspicion only grew stronger. Polls consistently show that most Americans do not believe the official explanation. Files were sealed, documents were classified, and trust in government institutions began to erode. The assassination of JFK did more than take a president's life. It ended an era of American innocence. Before 1963, Americans believed their leaders were untouchable. After Dallas, that belief was gone. John F. Kennedy was laid to rest at Arlington National Cemetery. As his young sons saluted the casket, an entire nation mourned, not just a man, but a dream. Even today, more than 60 years later, the assassination remains one of the most investigated events in American history. New documents continue to be released. New theories continue to emerge. But the full truth remains elusive. Was it truly the act of one man, or was history rewritten before our eyes? One thing is certain. On November 22, 1963, America changed forever, and the echo of those gunshots still lingers in the heart of the nation. When the official story was released, America was told to move on. The Warren Commission concluded that Lee Harvey Oswald acted alone, that 3 shots were fired from the 6th floor of the Texas School Book Depository, and that there was no wider plot. But for millions of Americans, that explanation felt incomplete. Too many details didn't line up. Too many questions were left unanswered. Almost immediately, alternative theories began to surface, theories that would grow stronger with each passing decade. One of the earliest and most persistent claims involved the grassy knoll. Witnesses reported hearing shots from the front of the motorcade, not behind it. Some ran toward the grassy area moments after the shooting, convinced the gunfire came from there. Others described seeing smoke or suspicious figures near the fence. If shots came from 2 directions, it meant one thing: there had to be more than one shooter. Then there was the bullet. The Warren Commission argued that a single bullet, later called the magic bullet, struck President Kennedy, exited his body, entered Governor John Connally, shattered a rib, broke his wrist, and lodged in his thigh. Critics called it physically impossible. To many Americans, the idea that one bullet caused 7 wounds without significant damage sounded like a story built to fit a conclusion, not the other way around. As skepticism grew, attention turned to Lee Harvey Oswald himself. Oswald had defected to the Soviet Union during the Cold War, only to return to the United States without punishment. He had known connections to pro-Castro and anti-Castro groups. He had been on the radar of federal agencies long before November 22nd, yet he was allowed to move freely. And then, before he could explain himself, he was silenced forever. Jack Ruby's killing of Oswald raised even more suspicion. Ruby claimed he acted out of grief for the president and wanted to spare Jacqueline Kennedy the pain of a trial. But his deep ties to organized crime and his easy access to the Dallas police basement made many Americans uneasy. How did a nightclub owner walk into one of the most secure areas in the country and kill the most important suspect alive? Some believed the answer lay within the mafia. The Kennedy administration had aggressively pursued organized crime. Attorney General Robert F. Kennedy was cracking down harder than any administration before him. Certain crime families had motive, connections, and experience in carrying out assassinations. Others pointed to the CIA. After the failed Bay of Pigs invasion, Kennedy had publicly criticized the intelligence community and reportedly wanted to reduce its power. Some theorists believe rogue elements within the agency saw Kennedy as a threat to national security. Then there were theories involving Cuba and the Soviet Union. Kennedy had narrowly avoided nuclear war during the Cuban Missile Crisis. Could foreign governments have wanted revenge? Or could Oswald have been manipulated as a pawn in a much larger geopolitical game? In 1979, a new investigation added fuel to the fire. The House Select Committee on Assassinations concluded that Kennedy was probably assassinated as a result of a conspiracy based on acoustic evidence suggesting more than one gunman. Although the findings were later challenged, the damage was done. The idea of a lone gunman was no longer convincing to the public. For decades, key documents remained classified, locked away in government archives. Each delay in their release only strengthened public distrust. If there was nothing to hide, many asked, why keep the files secret? When partial releases finally occurred, they raised more questions than answers. Names were redacted, pages were missing, and critical information remained sealed. The assassination of John F. Kennedy became more than a murder mystery. It became a symbol of broken trust between the American people and their government. It marked the moment when skepticism replaced certainty, when Americans began questioning official narratives, when conspiracy became part of the national conversation. More than 60 years later, Dealey Plaza remains a a place of pilgrimage. Visitors stand where history froze, staring at the sixth-floor window, listening to the echoes of gunshots that never truly faded. Was the truth lost that day, or was it buried afterward? Perhaps the most unsettling reality is this: even with modern technology, countless investigations, and decades of debate, America still does not have answers everyone can agree on. The JFK assassination isn't just a question of who pulled the trigger. It's a question of whether the full truth was ever meant to be known. And until every secret is revealed, the mystery will remain, haunting America generation after generation. For decades, Americans were told the truth would come out one day. That one day kept getting delayed. After years of public pressure, Congress passed the JFK Records Act of 1992, ordering all assassination-related documents to be released in full. The deadline was clear. Transparency was promised. History finally would be settled. But when the time came, thousands of files remained sealed. Presidents from both political parties approved extensions, citing national security concerns, even though the Cold War was long over. To many Americans, it felt like history was being held hostage. When partial releases began in the late 2010s and early 2020s, anticipation was enormous. Headlines promised bombshell revelations. Social media erupted with speculation.